Hi, and welcome to this AirCS demo. I'm Xavier Orr, the aviation specialist at Avocado 55. Within this short demonstration, we're going to show you the key features of our service and show you how it will be able to improve the capability of your airline to deal with delay and cancelled claims. There's three areas we're going to look at. The first will be the volume-proof claim solution. Then it will be the AI flight classification. Finally, we'll look at expenses. Let's get started. The volume-proof claim solution is built around an experience that's designed to be fast for legitimate claims, but equally robust, informative, and considered for claims that gets rejected. I'm going to start off with the submission, and then we're going to move through each of the stages before a claim is accepted or rejected. Submission of claims data can happen in a number of different ways. It can either come directly from your existing web form, or if you aren't using a web form today, we can build you one using our white label solution and brand it according to your airline requirements. There is the possibility to introduce bulk claims. So think of claims management companies or anyone else that sends you a high volume claims on a regular basis. Once a claim has been received, we move to the validation step. So we validate both the booking information as well as the flight information. This step is designed to eliminate claims that can be removed from the process even before we determine the classification of the flight. We also identify duplicate claims and fraudulent claims. On the left-hand side, you can see some of the information that goes to the passenger through this particular experience, starting off with text messages, and equally the emails that are sent to support those text messages. Emails are designed to be informative, clear, and provide the passenger with instructions of what will happen next and when. Once we've completed those validation steps, we wait for the airline to classify that flight to be able to know what to do next for the claims that are eligible or potentially rejected. For the classification process, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a moment. Once that flight has been classified, for eligible claims, we'll provide an update on exactly what compensation they're due and how we've calculated that compensation. For rejected claims, we've gone the extra mile to be able to show those passengers exactly why we've rejected that claim and provide supporting information to make it much clearer for them to avoid the number of passengers that come back to you challenging your decisions or, more expensive, go through to litigation. Here's an example of some of the rejection communications that were sent. Here is looking at a weather rejection. We're able to pull in information about the weather at that airport at that time, news articles or any other pertinent information that helps explain to that passenger why their flight was extraordinary, and also include information around how we tried to mitigate that delay in the first place. For claims that are eligible, we can also handle the payment. So whether that's instructing the airline to pay, or alternatively, we can capture their payment details and pay on your behalf. The option is down to you. Okay, let's move on to the AI classification journey. The journey is made up of a number of different steps, starting off with us reviewing your flight data, then gathering information that's associated to why a flight might have been delayed or cancelled, assessing it, looking what reasonable measures are in place, and then forming a recommendation for your teams to make the final call on. This gives the overall process scalability for mass disruption events and allows you to process claims more efficiently and effectively. So let's step into it. For the flight data, we can receive this either in real time, or alternatively, we can look up the flight based on the claim submission. The AirCS solution ensures that we keep a record of all of these flights for future claims. We look at all the key data around that particular flight, its time of arrival versus its schedule, look at the delay length, the delay reasons, and even into the line of flying to understand if it was a reactionary delay. Once we've understood the reason for that delay, we start gathering evidence. In this example, we're going to be using weather. The system automatically goes off and captures data either externally or internally from your airline. In this particular case, we're using metadata from the airport at the point of disruption. The same can be used when it comes to Revel reports or charts. It all builds that picture of why that particular flight was delayed. We can also pull in external data such as news resources or any articles that collaborates the reason why that particular aircraft could have been delayed or cancelled. The same process happens when it comes to reasonable measures. Apart from this time, we're looking within your airline, understanding what was happening with your spare aircraft if you have them, the same principle for crew, and also looking at any reserve time that you might have in place. Each of these pieces of evidence is then assessed against the relevant case law to ensure that we can form a recommendation. That recommendation you can see on your screen now. On the left-hand side, we've decided that this particular flight is extraordinary. We provide those individuals within your airline that makes that final call all of the evidence that we've just shown you and the rationale why. But fundamentally, it is still their decision. Once they've made their decision, it allows us to process the claims that you've just seen in the previous steps. In the final journey, we're going to look at how our AI expense optimization supports with welfare claims. The journey happens at two main levels. The first is at a flight level, where we keep a record of the passenger provisions given at the point of disruption. Everything after that, we're reviewing individual passenger claims to make determinations if an expense should or should not be paid out. Like before, we're using the flight data to see exactly what has happened at that particular flight. And at the same time, we're making a record of which expenses should or should not be paid. In the first example, we know this flight was not delayed overnight, and as a result, by default, we should not be expecting hotel claims. However, for meal claims, it's slightly different. There's a record that the ground handler was not able to give out the vouchers as per the normal process, so we'll accept those particular claims. From a passenger point of view, again, we can capture the claims using your existing web form. Alternatively, we can build one for you and brand it as per your airline. The passenger has uploaded two expense types in this scenario. The first we can see relates to a hotel booking, and as per the rules before, we know hotels are not eligible and will decline this particular part of the expense. We still extract the information to understand the nature of exactly what's included in this and how much, but it still has the same conclusion. It should be declined. The next relates to meals. You can see it's a picture of a receipt that has been taken on someone's phone. We use our AI technology to extract the line level details to start making decisions on what part of this meal expense should or should not be paid. Each individual line detail is then assessed against your airline policy. We're assuming in this instance that the airline does not want to pay alcohol. And you can see as I expand the screen, there's two items here that relates to alcohol. So in both instances, we'll be removing these from the expense claim and informing the passenger of the reason for that decision. The final step is similar to what you've seen before. We'll send an email to that passenger detailing exactly the expenses that are eligible. And again, following the payment process as we saw with the compensation claims. So thank you very much for your time and attention, and look forward to speaking to you soon.